Now, a poll has suggested that most parents believe the government should ban smartphones for under 16s.
Yeah, 4 in 5 felt that smartphones were harmful to children and young people.
Well, now the charity Parentkind, who conducted the survey, are calling on all political parties to include a ban on smartphones for children in their manifestos for the upcoming general election.
So, should access be restricted? Let's talk to parent, a medical clinician, Izzy Montague, and political commentator Alex Petropoulos. Good to see you both this morning. Izzy, what should be done?
I believe that no child should be having, it's not a requirement, a mobile phone. I don't think it's necessary at all. Most of us grew up, we didn't have smartphones. I think that children should have a means to communicate with their parents if they're not, especially with after school clubs and whatnot. But smartphones is just unnecessary. Before, we used to have telephone boxes that we could communicate with our parents on our way home or something. So maybe just a standard, I would say one of those block phones when mobile phones first came out. And, that should be necessary. I don't understand why parents will need to get their children smartphones, especially the latest phones, available. It's just not necessary at all.
Alex, what do you think?
Well, I think that, it's up to the parent. It's up to each parent to decide what's appropriate for their children. I don't think we need a blanket ban. I don't think we need the government to come in and say, this is what you've got to do for your child. I think each parent knows their kid the best and knows, this is the appropriate maturity for them. I think that to say that we should go back to all carrying around Nokia bricks as children, I think that's a bit silly because no one uses those anymore. And I think it's an important skill that children have to learn, learning how to use a smartphone. I think that there are trade-offs, there are benefits, there are costs, there are potential harms, but there are ways to mitigate against those without banning them for all children. And I think at the end of the day, we should put our trust in parents and we should help parents make those decisions for their children rather than...
But with the best will in the world, Alex, the problem seems to be social media, doesn't it? And actually the impact that is having on young people. Well, a parent may think, well, my child who's been told not to go on TikTok and Instagram and all the rest of it, they're still going to do it. If they've got access to it, they're still going to do it. So perhaps that decision needs to be taken away from them.
Well, I would have to disagree because I think that there already are a lot of tools in place to help parents. You gave TikTok as an example. You can go on TikTok as a parent, you can log in on your own account, you can pair your account with your child's, and that gives you control over what your child sees. It gives you control over, can your child get messages from strangers? What sort of content moderation are they going to get? Most people don't know about the fact that that's even a setting. What we need, if we're making a big campaign to protect children, maybe we just need a campaign to actually inform parents about the tools that already exist, rather than getting a bit overexcited and getting a bit in a frenzy of wanting to ban phones or wanting to put the blame on social media.
I agree with what you're saying. I mean, I definitely feel that the government shouldn't, be stepping in to, I am totally against anybody stepping in place of parents to remove what parents make decisions on. But it's not so much to do with what parents are making decisions on. I think it's more to do with what is available in the first place. I mean, social media, I agree with what you're saying in terms of parental control, you're saying, and that is fine. But I don't think even some parents know how. I think some of these social media sites are worse than knives, to be honest. And I don't think people understand how toxic this can be for children growing up. And I think it's just kind of mediocre that, oh yeah, you can restrict and everything else. But I don't even think it should be available at all. I don't think no child needs, TikTok accounts, even with the best restrictions available. It's just not necessary. The whole point of having a phone is so you know where your child is. Why do they need to be having access to any type of social media site? It's just not necessary. There's, let's get back to children, going to clubs and meeting people a safe way. We don't need mobile phones, as a smart device at all. You have tablets where you can see what your child is doing at home. Why do you need a mobile phone other than to communicate and say, hello, I'm home, I'm waiting for the bus? That's it.
OK, look, we've got to leave it there, sadly. Alex and Izzy, thanks very much indeed. Would love your thoughts.